Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the extended ECM model for today's second video. This is the European outlook for the next 30 or 42 days. So this is your 30-day European weather forecast. I shall have a look at the data from ecm.int in a moment. Just to say that first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. And we'll have a 10 to 14 day coming up to you later on today as well. Please like, share and subscribe on all of those videos. And thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Right, let's start off with the week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly from ECM. It's taking us through the week that we're currently in, from the 24th of April to the 1st of May. How are things looking? We've got a blocking area with high pressure around Greenland and Iceland, and that ridge extending down the western side of Europe. There's also a trough of low pressure across Scandinavia and northern and northeastern parts of Europe, and deep low pressure in the Atlantic. So we're going to be seeing cooler air coming into the north of Europe between the blocking area of high pressure and trough of low, but at the same time warmer air will be pushing up into southern parts of Spain and also Portugal as well. How's the 500 millibar heights looking? Well, we can see we've got a trough of below average heights across northern, central and eastern parts of Europe, above average heights in the west and the southwest of Europe, and then more low pressure out in the Atlantic. The jet stream looks like it's going to be doing something a little bit like that. So let's have a temperature anomaly look. So really hot across Spain and North Africa. Look at the upper air temp, not the upper air temperature I'm talking about. Look at the surface temperature anomaly there. We make deep red colours into Spain and also into the north of Africa as well. So that is 10 degrees or more above average, where you see these darkest of the red colours. So intense heat already starting to build across North Africa and into Iberia. Is that a portent for the summer to come? We shall see. That those above average temperature are always extending into southern parts of France as well, and the extreme northeast of Europe around the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania, a little bit above average there too. Otherwise, it's actually quite a cool week though across many parts of Europe. The Republic of Ireland, a little bit cool through there, but much of Northern Ireland and Britain coming out colder than average. And then into continental Europe, we've got most parts of Scandinavia looking cold and average. We've also got much of the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, and on into Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, on Germany, Poland, below average there, southwards as well. See cold and average temperatures here into the eastern part of Europe, and then going southwards of that into the Balkans, down to Greece, and also towards Turkey, up towards the Black Sea, again below average temperatures through those. So remember, these are anomalies to average, so for Greece, for example, if the temperature anomaly is like 1 to 3 degrees below average, it will still be relatively warm at the end of April, but definitely quite a cool or cold scene across much of Europe, away from Spain, Portugal, where the heat is already starting to build. Precipitation-wise, we look like this. So above average precipitation through many eastern parts of Europe, really from Poland towards the west of Russia, and southwards in towards the Balkans, over towards the Black Sea, and down towards Turkey as well. Scandinavia also standing out as being wetter than average. Of course, as it's so cold, some of that will be snow as well as rain and sleet. It's not wet everywhere though. Some places are actually dry. Actually, much of France looks quite dry. Spain, Portugal and the Mediterranean, from Spain to Italy, generally drier than average there. North Africa, where that heat dome is building, again we see that the temperature, the precipitation normally is drier than normal too. Going further northwards, it's drier than average through northern parts of Britain, from Scotland over towards the west of Norway, but further southwards it is a little bit on the wetter than average side. Right, week 2 will be the 1st to the 8th of May. So this time we get high pressure across many northern and also western parts of Europe. So high pressure basically is drifting a little bit further eastwards, with low pressure in the Atlantic. It looks like it should start to bring up warmer sort of southerly winds up the western side of Europe. At the same time, the legacy of the cold trough is over here on the eastern side of Europe, maybe more of a northerly influence excuse me, through there, be a 500 millibar. Height anomaly looks like that. So a ridge building through the western side of Europe. But you can see where the trough is with the cooler or colder temperatures, presumably through here. How does the temperature anomaly look? So let's have a look at that, shall we? So east-west split for temperature anomalies really next week, 1st to the 8th of May. Warmer than average across much of Western Europe, particularly again through Spain, Portugal, and into North Africa. That warmth extending up through France, into the UK, and also Ireland as well. On the temperature anomaly scale, we can see that we're going to around 1 to 3 degrees above average here for the UK, Ireland, and France, but it's hotter than that further southwards in Spain and northern parts of Africa. East of that, it turns cooler though, stays cooler, so as much as Scandinavia, coming out with below average temperatures. Again, many parts of Central and Eastern Europe, from the far east of Germany, right way through to the west of Russia, we see that it's cooler or colder than average. And those below average temperatures also extend down in towards Romania, the Balkans, Greece, Turkey as well, for example. So a real east-west divide there with the temperatures next week. Excuse me once more. And as far as precipitation is concerned, well, where we have those cool or cold temperatures, we've also got some above average precipitation here for the eastern and southeastern parts of Europe. Again, if the temperature is cold, you have to factor in, although it's early May, have to factor in that there might be snow, especially in mountainous areas, but more likely heavy showers and thunderstorms, particularly, of course, when we get down into the Mediterranean. Western, northern Europe, drier though, so much of Scandinavia coming out drier than average, and then we've got Germany and the Low Countries, much of France, drier than normal too, and into the western part of the Med, back to Spain and Portugal, it comes out drier than average there as well. Week 3 will be the 8th to the 15th of May. More changes. So high pressure, this would be Azores high really, high pressure to the west of Portugal, low pressure then coming in across much of Europe, and high pressure towards the far north of Scandinavia. 500 millibar heights looks like that. So below average heights from the Atlantic into western parts of Europe. Some higher pressure in the Norwegian Sea. And of course, again, there's the Azores high ridging towards Spain and also Portugal. Temperature anomalies look like this. So a little bit above average still for UK and Ireland, both cooling down compared to week 2. France actually going below average, so below average temperatures appearing there. Much of Eastern Europe also having a below average temperature signal from Poland to the Black Sea. Then up Scandinavia a little bit cooler than average through there. Perhaps Spain and Portugal still above average, especially so for the south, but it does look as though that anomaly is beginning to come down a little bit. So the heat dome, I suppose, pushes northwards in week 2, and then is swept away probably by low pressure in the Atlantic and a return of westerlies into week 3. And so we start to see the heat, begin to ease off down across Spain and into North Africa as well. Precipitation looks like that. So the high pressure ridging in from the Azores towards Spain and Portugal. So drive an average there. Drive an average, but we've got that area of high pressure across the northern parts of Scandinavia. And then we get a wet zone from Ireland and the UK over towards the west of Russia. No, much of Western Europe coming out with above average rainfall there. UK, Ireland, France, the Low Countries, Germany, on in towards Poland, up to Denmark as well, with above average precipitation. Not much signal for the eastern part of the Med, but I suspect that it might be a little bit drier. Right, week 4 will be the 15th to the 22nd of May. Another change, so there's a lot of variation going on from week to week in this May, isn't there, with high pressure this time building again across much of northern and also western Europe, low pressure being pushed out into the Atlantic. You will think that will start to draw up warmer southerly winds again up the western side of Europe, probably a trough of low pressure through there. How's the 500 millibar heights looking? Again, we see that ridge building up the western side of Europe. Could this be the summer pattern beginning to emerge? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? High pressure building up west side, but Europe, low pressure being pushed out into the Atlantic. Again, presumably some sort of southerly flow is moving up west side of Europe with that ridge of above average height. So temperatures are lifting up again, becoming very warm or hot into central parts of Spain. You also see the UK and Ireland returning to above average temperatures. Coolest temperatures are over in the east and the northeast of Europe, again around the Baltic Sea, from the Baltic Sea to Black Sea really, with cooler than average temperatures through there. A wide area with no signal, but I suspect this area will probably be above average. So France, the Low Countries, Western Germany, possibly Denmark, above average temperatures likely through there. I would have thought precipitation for week 4 is very weak signal by this point, as it always is by the 4th week, but still seems to be driving average across Scandinavia and Northern Europe. Also a little bit on the drier side through the UK and through France as well. Wettest conditions probably over on the far eastern side of Europe. Okay, that's your 30-day look ahead done, but let's look at weeks 5 and 6 data before we go, because, well, why not? The charts are better, might as well have a look at them, might we? Week 5 will be the 22nd, 29th of May. Now this time we see the high pressure drifting back towards Eastern Europe. Low pressure is down here. Could that into the thundery breakdown maybe? With this low pressure perhaps bringing some thunder up the western side of Europe. That would be an interesting prospect, wouldn't it? 500 millibar height shows that trough of below average heights in the Atlantic. Above average heights drifting a little bit further eastwards, maybe signalling the chance of a thundery breakdown. Spanish balloon followed by thundery breakdown up the west side of Europe. The precipitation, the temperature on it, I should say, is warmer than average across much of Western Europe. Still a little bit on the cooler side in the extreme eastern part of Europe. And we see precipitation. And yeah, it does look a little bit wet, doesn't it? Through France and through Spain, Portugal, into France and into the UK and Ireland as well. That definitely suggests it, or hints, but there might be a plume and a thundery breakdown coming up from the south. At the same time, central and eastern parts of Europe look a little bit drier. And then week 6 will be the 29th of May to 5th of June. More changes, some high pressure up towards Iceland, high pressure in the east and southeast part of Europe, and low pressure again out in the Atlantic to west of Spain and Portugal. 500 millibar height anomalies are looking like this. High pressure across central part of the Med, low pressure in the Atlantic, and some high pressure up towards Greenland and Iceland as well. Quite a complicated pattern. Still, it's generally quite warm across much of western and southwestern Europe, perhaps cooler in the far east and northeast of Europe, and precipitation looks like that. So, again, wetter to the west of Spain, Portugal. A little bit wet towards Scandinavia, otherwise a very weak signal and not much of use can be drawn. Right, okay, so very variable in the next 4 weeks by the look of it. Temperatures up and down, sometimes high pressure, sometimes low pressure, yeah, a bit of a hint of a thundery breakdown maybe in western parts of Europe when we get to the end of May. It does look as though the very chilly temperature, cold temperatures really that we've got across much of Europe this week will be on their way out from next week onwards, and a recovery in the temperature is likely to take place through the first half of May, if we believe the model. And of course, it is only a model, so any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings and large pinches of salt attached. We should always remain, somewhat sceptical about any prediction beyond sort of a week. Right, so there we go then. We'll do it all over again next Tuesday, of course, and we'll have a look at this model once more on Friday, actually. And that will be a UK and Ireland focus with the model update when we look at it again on Friday. We're going to be back later on to 10 to 14 day. Come back for that then. It will include all our breaker features, by the way. But for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.